It's finally time for Bengals versus Steelers, and while Pittsburgh comes into Cincinnati with a better record and a better team on paper and Russell Wilson playing as well as he is, I do think that Russ is going to give this Bengals defense a chance to make a statement that they desperately need to make. And in this video, I'll explain exactly what that is. Happy Thanksgiving, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A2C Sports Cincinnati here. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the dynamic between the Bengals and Steelers, this rivalry, has kind of changed in recent years, and I feel like the quarterback situation for both teams has played a big part in that because the decline and then retirement of Ben Roethlisberger really perfectly coincided with the arrival of Joe Burrow. And then in Joe Burrow's first full healthy season in 2021, the Bengals swept the Steelers. And then he had that signature moment in 2022 when they scored 30-something points at Pittsburgh without Jamar Chase, and he turned to the crowd on the sideline, yelled, "We the big dogs," all that good stuff. So as the Bengals and the Ravens have developed a lot more animosity as bitter rivals in recent years, and Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson has become must-see TV, as the Bengals continue to try to figure out how to beat the Browns on a consistent basis, as that team has become kind of the kryptonite to this Bengals roster. I feel like the Steelers have kind of taken a back seat, at least in the Bengals' mind, because no one really takes them seriously without a true quality quarterback. Obviously, that defense has always been good for as long as I've been alive, but they've been hovering around, 9-10 wins every season without really making far into the playoffs because they don't have a quarterback that they can rely on. And no one really believed entering the season that either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, paired with an offensive coordinator like Arthur Smith, would be the thing that takes them to true contender status. But it turns out that's exactly what's happened. Like, we're in week 13 right now. The Steelers already have 8 wins, and they're coming to Cincinnati this weekend with not one, but 2 quarterbacks that have played well for them this season under Arthur Smith. It feels like the dynamic has changed once again. The Steelers are no longer just a pesky defense led by TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward with a crapshoot at quarterback. Now they have a guy in Russell Wilson who is unlocking the likes of George Pickens and Calvin Austin, and they're putting up points, and now they are a legitimate threat to not only beat the Bengals, but to beat them into submission. And the only way I don't see that happening is that the Bengals defense actually starts finishing around the quarterback. I know this pass rush has been dreadful all season long, and there are no surefire ways to make it better, but I do think, despite how well Russ is playing, he might be the quarterback that can allow that to happen. In the last 4 starts that he's made, Russell Wilson has been sacked 15 times. Only 5 quarterbacks have been sacked more in this same time frame. And that number is big, but I don't think it's the number that truly matters here because, again, the Bengals haven't been able to finish their pressures. They haven't been able to turn pressures and hurries into sacks, and drives have been extended because of that. Russell Wilson has been sacked 29.4% of the time when he's been pressured, which is the 4th most in the league in this time frame. The amount of pressures that he's incurred in this span is 13th in the league, but he's taking the 6th most sacks, which means he's holding the ball too long and he's not able to escape pressure. This is the key right here, plain and simple. If the Bengals really want to start this 6-week-long push back into the playoff picture, they need to nullify this Pittsburgh Steelers offense first. They need a statement made on defense. They need to finish at Russ before he starts cooking. There's going to be opportunities for Trey Hendrickson when he goes up against Dan Moore Jr. There's going to be opportunities for Sam Hubbard and Myles Murphy going up against Broderick Jones. Those guys need to make plays happen. We could be in for a shootout here on Sunday, and that might be very exciting. But if the Bengals give the Steelers extra chances that they haven't been able to get in recent weeks against other defenses, it's going to be curtains.